You wouldn't know an EF3 tornado tore through here until you get to this street, Stone Hollow Lane. House after house level. We now know that the large crowd that was gathered here on Lancelot Lane all day was mourning the loss of a 14-year-old. Those names released last night make Saturday morning's disaster all too real, and among them, a family of 7. We now know the man we spoke to, Ibrahim Muhammad, is in jail facing charges related to this apartment fire that resulted in the deaths of 2 people. They are investigating this incident as a homicide, and that makes it the city's 33rd of this year, just shy of 34 from last year. One of our tripods actually froze in between live shots. You can see the ice on it. Governor Andy Beshear said if businesses and individuals choose not to follow his orders, it will only result in more cases and more deaths. We talked to Derby fans from across the globe who said they are celebrating a return to normalcy. Let's take a look at some of our top stories this morning. The first shooting happened around 9 last night on Betsy Lane. That's near the Lexington Cemetery. And we're learning more about a Scott County school bus that caught fire on I-75 with students on board. We've put in a call to KSB headquarters to learn more details, and WKYT has a crew heading to the scene right now. This morning, we're learning more about the Kentucky State Trooper shot in the line of duty. Our Broadway Live insider, Michael Miller, is in studio with us this morning to talk about the show. Michael, welcome. But if I looked over on the road and saw no driver and just a wheel turning, I would panic.
My bus's name is Blue.
Blue the bus, named for its seats, but also serving as a proud mascot for the state of Kentucky in its time of need.
It's just been surreal. I mean, until you see it with your own eyes.
The bus is carrying food, water, and other supplies. A cafeteria on wheels for victims of the EF3 tornado.
And they don't have electricity, so that's why they're at the shelter.
Melanie Edison is one of several bus drivers taking on new routes, navigating around the rubble, downed trees and wires.
You think you have trouble, but when you come out here and look, you don't have nothing to worry about.
She and the other drivers and monitors say many of their students have seen death and destruction these last few days.
They need money, gift cards and things like that, because you can't take clothes or food to go get medicine. A lot of these people don't have their medicines, they don't have cards. One man over there was looking for his green card. You know, and that is hard to get.
In the middle of the cleanup, Edison says there's been moments of hope.
I found a lady in the house, it was just a slab, found her purse.
A missing purse, fully intact, returned to its owner.
The guards come up and they said, what do you, I said, I'll keep it on the bus. I said, because people coming up be asking for this stuff.
A memento saved by the bus serving up joy on wheels.
I just think it's really inappropriate.
I think that everybody's taking it way too far.
Reactions to Hazard High School's Twin Day competition aren't identical.
The kids can be kids, but not be strippers and hooters.
Also pictured was Cheech and Chong. Other costumes were accessorized by beer mugs, a joint, and paddles. Students say it's an annual event.
Every year leading up to this year, I would say I'd say they were equally as vulgar, you would put it.
In this year's photos, Principal Happy Mobilini is featured. He's also the mayor of Hazard.
Like, it wasn't like meant to be like actually anything sexual. It was just a joke to get more laughs so we could win.
Happy is one of the best people there are. He will do anything to help anybody.
I talked to the principal over the phone today. He was working in office. He told me all questions regarding this incident needed to be taken up with the superintendent's office.
The district is investigating the incident, and after the investigation is complete, appropriate action will be taken.
Parent Holly Lane says she thinks the issue of the pictures has been blown out of proportion.
None of my children have been hurt. None of the teachers have been hurt. It's embarrassing to them that this has to happen at their school because people don't know how to keep their mouths shut.
While outrage online and elsewhere in the community continues to spread.
I don't think it's taken out of context. They're half naked, which is almost pornography.
Superintendent Combs says the district is investigating this as quickly as possible.
I love these pictures.
Yeah.
The Holloway family's first brush with royalty started when Prince Philip traveled to Lexington for the 1978 World Eventing Championships.
We didn't think it was going to have any impact on our family.
It was at the event venue, the then brand new Kentucky Horse Park, where Holloway's father and royalty would become friends.
He came up with the idea of coming back to check out the horse farms for the Queen.
He told them, I don't want any press, I don't want any pictures. And my parents absolutely did that. None of their friends knew he was coming.
The Holloways welcomed the prince to their home at Caveland Farm.
They went to Gainesway, Spendthrift, and ended up at Claiborne.
Holloway and Playforce say once they got past the royal protocols, they found Prince Philip to be a disarming man, a history buff, and committed to his duty to his country and his wife.
He was so gracious and so kind and so soft-spoken.
The Duke remembered the Holloways enjoyed fox hunting and invited them to a 22-day trip across the pond.
They'd have a lovely dinner party. It was always black tie.
He still has a memento from another trip to England, the menu cards placed at every seat. Today, he and his sister watched a service memorializing a man living for nearly 100 years of history.
Because of COVID, he got to have sort of the funeral he really wanted. And I think that's the kind of man he was. I don't think he was really after a lot of show.
I got on Facebook and her messenger said online.
Sierra Bryant says she checked on her sister-in-law, Rachel Brown, after the tornado blew through Bowling Green.
And I messaged again and I said, hey sis, are you okay? And still nothing back. And then she went offline.
583 Moss Creek Avenue, where Rachel and her family lived, is now unrecognizable.
I imagine going there and seeing it in person, it's going to be even worse.
Brian says her husband has been getting calls confirming one by one his family members were victims of the EF3 tornado. She says she wants the family of 7 to be remembered as the wonderful people they were.
Miss Vicky was a strong woman. She loved all of her grandbabies.
All 14 of them, including Naraya, Nisa, Nolan, and 4-year-old Niles.
He just started school. And he was so happy, and Rachel has sent me pictures.
Bryant describes Rachel as a devoted mother.
Fearless and just a beautiful heart for other people. That's the thing that stands out the most with her.
Her husband, a supportive and loving man.
He truly adored her and, called her the love of his life.
Bryant says Stephen adopted Rachel's daughters.
He adopted both of those girls and gave him his last name.
While she mourns the loss of what they'll never experience, graduation, learning how to drive, she's holding on to what they had through pictures folks have found during the cleanup.
Such incredible, nice people out there.